Well, guys, I'm back with another video review. That's the 26 JoJo's over one. I'm a little annoyed right now, so the internet just went off my phone. I had to turn it back on off again. And suddenly my phone stopped recording. So I'm redoing this fucking video. I don't know why. Ugh, that fucking annoys me. It shouldn't do that. It should not affect the fucking camera. God, how annoying. Trying to calm myself down now. Yeah, this place isn't that good. Stupid summer heat. So, yeah, I was discussing some things before I was doing the review. Like, the Eyes of Heaven game weren't moving to get a remaster, and I talked about how I didn't exactly like the ending due to a retcon and a lot of character deaths. Deaths that are important to the story. Even after those deaths were important for Apollo's character. They'll motivate him. I mean, I'm not getting a fake out in the manga, thinking Apollo was gonna die, but no, Ikki's the one who died instead. Tell me, when you start reading the part, who'd you know but familiar with Rocky's tendency to kill off characters towards the end? What character do you think will get What characters do you think will get killed off when you start reading? Like, and especially for part 9, since it's still ongoing, I'm feeling that our main characters will die. Some of them will die. Like Usagi, Paco, or Charming Man. My money's on Paco, really. He has the most. Still looks as though he knows he's abuse. Well, that could affect Paco's character later down the line in a final fight. When he's killed by Hara. If Hara is the main antagonist. And Hara is set to return, of course, some point in the future. Since we're still on Act 2 right now. You get my point. Okay, initially figured Usagi would die too, but at the latest arc, I don't know. I don't know if that will happen. Anyway, let's just get into the story. So we continue where we left off after Johnny was abducted. Johnny's trying to figure out where the standard attack's coming from. Which thinks it might be a hot air balloon, even though he doesn't see one, it could still be possible. And his horse disappears. Johnny alone. And you notice the feathers too, where hooks come out. Johnny realizes the feathers are the stands coming from the feathers somehow. Johnny's injured and has lost to hide. As he introduces the user, Pork Pie Hat Kid. Of course, his name was changed in the English translation. Yeah, like copyright, but think about it. If you watch Diamonds Unbreakable on Netflix, the subtitles are fine. Subtitles on there reflect the original names, not the localized ones. I never got into trouble for it. And some subtitles are inconsistent with Pomeroy being referred to as Jean-Pierre in part 5. When he was when the subtitles were to Jean-Pierre Pomeroy prior. That's not inconsistent, the subtitles are fucking The character will be called Pomeroy fine these days, but even though it was being called out in the anime, the Eyes of Heaven game for some reason, and again, that looks like English translation that came up before the anime did, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that came up before the dub did. So a lot of the English translations come from that. The translations being in production before the anime version came out, so name changes were that then. Of course, something featuring All-Star Battle and Eyes of Heaven will be changed. Later down the line. Like a certain character stand, D4C. Filthy acts at a reasonable price that doesn't even bother to keep the moniker of the name. D4C. no point in the name. You can even summarize it just simple people see as a set. There'll be areas in the price. Yeah, how can you show on that? FAAAARP? Frop? Fop? Slave? That's a dumb change. So I'm glad they managed to keep the D4C moniker in it. But my head kid's crazy. He's looking for that box. You see Gyro drop one of his steel balls. You only see one. He dropped the other in the deck before being captured. So most likely after being struck by the hook, he intentionally dropped one of his steel balls, but Johnny only has it. This gives Johnny some time to think. Also, I thought he used up all his nail bullets earlier. Somehow his nail. Yet someone was able to do it again. I figured out in the last chapter he used a lot of nail bullets attacking the air. And used another batch earlier. And somehow he's able to use them again? Nails don't go back that quickly. But you know, my nails go back quite a lot quickly. I'm just saying, they're explaining that the stand can make Johnny's nails grow back quicker. It's not possible. But weird errors. I understand for a cool visual effect. But why did they decide to color Johnny's nails blue? Because in the whole time, that does not. Men having their nails painted wasn't seen as a good thing at the time. You know, it takes place in 1890, and that kind of thing was not acceptable at the time. But I guess in the JoJo universe it's possible. Just saying, just a little weird detail, but not complaining, just curious, just talking about how weird it is. And his stand ability with nails, that's quite cool. Oh, my main complaint now is that they always say aura. When parts 4 and 5, they never used that. They use Dora and Muda. I don't like a battle cry, aura! But they're still very unique for the character. But having every character now say aura kind of makes it, you know, have a parallel. Makes it less unique. But, see, granted, JoJo has not said aura so many times, since he doesn't have a stand that punches. But it's possible it may change. Go for an evolution, similar to his killing on part 5. So most likely you'll get a new form some point later in the story. Maybe we get a concept to recurring stands in this continuity. You know? Something like a recurring stand, but of course the stand hours don't exist in this universe. Stands, non-natural born stands come from that corpse. Means, I guess as eventually Johnny Badger master his stand. He's able to keep it. And then our descendants will actually be natural born stand users. Because of that. I'm curious to know when each character will start to become aware of their stands. Think of all the previous stand users in the past. Not all of them were natural. But hepatitis were never exactly natural born stand users. There's some okie way. Josuke being related to Joseph, but he's not a natural born stand user. But it's also because it's tied to the Joestar birthmark. Similar to Jono, he's kind of related to both Jonathan and Dio. Again, their stands were naturally awakened, but it's connected to this Joestar birthmark. And Jolene ended up awakening her stand thanks to a stand arrow being carved into a small little pendant. So none of the original previous JoJo's in the original continuity are natural born stand users, as that's the case with Johnny as well. But well, seems like all the other members of the Joestar family in this continuity are sort of natural born stand users, because nearly every member of the Joestar family has stands. Holly has a stand. Josuke has a stand. Every member of the Higashikara family has a stand, as they do have ties to the Joestar family. Hey, doesn't that actually make them relate to the Josuke? You know, he's technically two characters. You know what I mean? Anyway, all the common characters are natural born stand users. And the stands is still young. Compared to the other characters who only awakened their stands when they got older. I mean, Kay also has a stand, and she is technically a Joestar. Go read JoJo's to find out, understand that. Here's my point. Anyway, back to the story. Amazing thinking. Johnny ends up picking out some things. Realizing the steel ball run race is after this corpse. There's only motivation to find it. And also that these are people after the corpse because the corpse I had kid was searching for something. That's why I took friends around including Gyro. And here we got the stand's ability after being attacked again. It's to do with bait, fishing wires. Kind of like Beach Boy, which is a fishing rod stand. Beach Boy! So, yeah, it's kind of like that. Except it's tied to pump up the guy's teeth. And Johnny is discovering Gyro's second steel ball. But Johnny's trying to resist getting taken up. Stuff with multiple hooks stabbing into him. But then something happens. A small creature comes out to his arm, tied to the corpse. There's a pink little cute little creature. That sound gives Johnny some new abilities. As his toenails can be shot out too, even though he can't move his legs. Again, the stand is then this power is being tied to him learning spin. It's tying spin with a stand. So yeah, that ends up injuring Popeye, that kid. He gets really pissed. And Giles seemed to be conscious enough to drop that second steel ball, or being knocked out again. And Popeye had kids getting Johnny's name wrong. I think Johnny's missing. He's trying to find him. He now knows Johnny has the corpse. Basically, Johnny knows that Gyro was telling him to run. Even though he hasn't known Gyro Zeppeli that long, he can understand now that Gyro is a good person. A good man. But Johnny's not going to give up. No, he's after the corpse. He's going to take him down. And he and Gyro are going to look for all the corpse parts across the steel ball run. Across the steel ball run. That makes you question, These cold spots seem to have size withstand abilities. Did Mountain Tim end up? Did one end up going inside Mountain Tim without him knowing? That might be the case. And so he's got to stand closer me. Rocky's been getting creative with a stance lately. And that's where the chapter ends for now. Sorry, round on. And the next chapter is the end. This is only 3 parts, cut out of 65 page one. Because now it's an ultra jump. So, we'll see how the spiral goes, ends in the next chapter. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please thumbs up button. Want to see more? Subscribe to the channel. Always come to you. And see you guys later for more Steel Ball Run all the way up to the end of the Scary Monsters arc. Super Jump out.